Hi, I'm Tessa, a veteran educator working in the field of special education.
And I'm Kim, mom of two autistic boys and a late diagnosed autistic person myself.
And welcome to Totally Over the Spectrum, where we dive into embracing autism through understanding and support. Welcome to episode 29, traveling tips when you are autistic or traveling with a person with autism. So excited about this one.
I know, you are a travel person. For me, as an autistic person, traveling is a sensory nightmare.
It is, but when you put things into place, it can be amazing.
I'm not saying it's not enjoyable, because it is, because I do enjoy traveling, but it is always stressful. It is always difficult. And I'm going to tell you, it does get easier with practice, but not because it becomes less of a sensory issue, but because I have now the tools in place to help myself through those sensory issues.
Okay, so let's jump into this, okay? Would you like to stick with your list, or are you going to ebb and flow through mine?
Oh, no, we're going to stick with my list, please. That would be great. So if you are traveling as an autistic adult or you're traveling with autistic children, if you could have a support person with you, that would be the most ideal way to travel.
Okay.
To me, right? Because then if I get overwhelmed or the kids get overwhelmed and stuff, like I have at least another person who is able to function in that moment.
Okay.
Right? So I know that that is not always possible. So the key thing that I think is necessary for traveling is preparation.
It is preparation, and there are different aspects of preparation. So, and that was my number one factor in traveling tips is preparation is key. The different aspects of preparation, I would say, is social stories would be number one, depending upon, and this can go through all levels, whether it be level 1, 2, and 3, right? The do's and don'ts of travel for your higher functioning level ones, right? Right the way down to very simple social stories of do's and don'ts for your level 3. So to me, that is number one over there that you can do, and familiarizing yourself with the destination that you're going to. Do a lot of the research, pull up pictures, incorporate that into your social stories, right? Practice runs.
Okay, so
right?
let me back up
and
there for just a
modeling.
second.
So those are all aspects of my preparation.
So
and more.
I know you're excited and you're, yeah. I'm believing it's ADHD, but we're just not gonna. I'm gonna keep it to myself. Okay, so if we back it up, when we're talking about preparation and social stories, and what we're really talking about is sharing the details of the destination, and I think that applies to adults as well. I need details before I go somewhere. I need to, like, if I'm driving, I need to understand what the parking situation is going to be like before I decide to go. And I might not even go, depending on how bad the parking might be. And if I have to go, then I'm going to leave really early so that I have lots of time to be able to navigate the parking before I'm due to arrive at wherever I'm going. And that's just for parking. That's just one aspect of traveling. Right? So I need to have a lot of detail. I need to understand the hotel. I need to understand what the itinerary is. I need to understand all of that. The more information I can have about going to a place, the better. And I imagine that transfers to children as well.
Yeah. And that's where the social story comes into place, because you can really load it with as much or as little information that you need, depending on the type of learner your kid is, or the type of learner that you are.
And in combination with that, time before you travel, right? So if you're going to go at the end of the month, start like farther back than that. Like, give me a couple months notice. That's great. That now I have time to really slowly process it. It's going to be on the calendar. It's like a countdown. It's, and that works for kids too. Like, this is coming up later. Right?
Yes.
So that we have a lot of time to really process it and think about it and get ourselves prepared for it.
And believe it or not, your kid is going to be far more adaptable than you are, because the excitement level, new things, new faces, new smells, new textures, new tastes. Everything is just, they're just going to be really enhanced by all of this, and they're going to be exhausted at the end of the day.
Just talking about all those new things is exhausting, right? So it's there is a level of excitement, sure, but there's also a lot of sensory overwhelm that comes with all that newness, right? So you were saying starting small. Yeah, for sure. Like maybe your first trip isn't to Disneyland. Like start on a short trip that's not too far from home, and just be prepared that you might have to leave your trip early because we've had enough. Like that's enough.
So, usually, what I recommend for first time traveling is leave early in the morning, go to your location, right? Hotels are excellent at accommodating people with special needs. I really have to give them a kudos on that. And explore the area, go into your room, allow your child to explore the room. If you give your hotel the heads up in advance, you can, do provide a lock and key that you can put onto your door. You have the little sliding locks. You can just take one of a lock and key that has an extra long loop in order for it to feed through appropriately.
Like a padlock.
Like a padlock, yeah. In order to secure your room, right? And making sure that your hotel understands, the requirements and the accommodations required for your child in order to make this a safe trip. Go there, spend the time in exploring the area, go to your hotel room, spend the night over there. Be prepared that you're not going to have a sound sleep, right? So just be prepared that it's not going to be the best night's sleep. And that's okay. It's going to be okay. This is the first time. And when you get up, you leave your hotel room. Try and stay as long as you possibly can in that environment, or go in and out as much as you possibly can. And then when you check out, explore the area and then come back. And it's an overnight trip, but essentially you have the day before and the day after.
Right. You can also see if you can book a room in a quieter area of the hotel, so that it's not in like a high traffic zone, just to keep the sensory levels down. You can see if there are autism friendly accommodations available. If there are food issues, you could book a place that maybe has its own kitchen and maybe bring some of your safe foods with you. Or check and see if there are grocery stores in the area.
Yeah, these are all great suggestions in order to be able to plan that first trip, because you want to keep it within the environment that you're used to. Because as we know, our picky eaters are extremely picky, right? So you want to be able to access those items or take those items with you when you travel. And you slowly build on these before you start to venture overseas.
You're like, overseas. Like, we'll just go overseas. Like, we're not going overseas right now. Yeah, we'll see. So since we're sort of talking about food options, I was thinking about itinerary, and you need to build in breaks, and you need to be able to build in flexibility and quiet time, right? So I think that it is really very, very difficult to spend every single minute of your vacation doing something. That is too much. I have done that, and that is too much. And like, I know people want to be like, oh, well, you're here and you're visiting, and let's go do this and let's go do that, and let's make the most of your time here, and that's lovely. Except that I really do need downtime.
Yes,
or
you do.
Because I will just go and I will keep doing whatever they want me to do, and I will go well beyond the point where I'm ceasing to function. I won't know that I need to eat. I won't know that I need to use the washroom. I won't be able to regulate my temperature. I will have no idea, because I will be in like, I don't even know what to call it. It's
La La Land.
Yeah, I am simply following, and I am no longer able to recognize any of my needs. And I didn't even sleep at night because I was so wound up I couldn't fall asleep. And then I would get up in the morning and do the same thing. I would just lie in bed and maybe an hour, maybe two of sleep, and get up and do it all again. So, and I didn't tell the person because I didn't want the person to feel bad, but also because I didn't know what I needed.
Hence, the suggestion of having a companion travel with you is great, right? One of the things that you can do in order to make sure that you have that break is schedule it in. Okay, you have to schedule it in, and when you do schedule it in, you need to bring some of your preferred items with you in order to give you that calming sensation, to give you that calming area, and kind of your makeshift sensory area. So you can just take these cute little flashlights that have the different pieces that connect on the top, whether they're stars or moons or, different lenses that can project. Yeah, ask the hotel for an extra blanket or a comforter and kind of make it like a little tent with this in, and allow your kid to just go and chill and, relax.
Yeah, and some places might have sensory rooms that you can use. Like you really need to do your work beforehand to make sure that the destination that you're going to is going to be a a positive first experience for sure.
Yeah, and then can accommodate. And this is where a lot of the research and pays off. So you need to really do your due diligence on this.
And really allow yourself and allow your child to do a preferred activity to regulate yourself in between doing these other things. And that's going to take as long as it takes. Mm-hmm. So we really need to be patient and build that flexibility into that.
Yeah, that was one of my other aspects is stay calm and be flexible, right? Use the resources that are available. You would be surprised as to how much resources are available to you. You just have to ask.
Like your ability to regulate yourself fluctuates day to day. And then now you're in a new environment and everything is new. That is going to be a lot more difficult. So make sure that you build in a contingency plan in case you or your child gets overwhelmed.
Yeah, and that contingency plan should be part of your scheduling, right? We're going to go out and we're going to do this activity. Doesn't mean you're set by a certain time, unless you're going to do participating in a paid activity where it is a time slot. Then you're going to have to be a little bit more structured on that.
It's probably not a good idea your first time out the gate to go on like a tour bus, where you are set at someone else's schedule and there are other people there and you can't simply just leave. That might not be a great place to start.
So you need to do it low key, and that is as flexible as possible. So, build it into your schedule, build it into a routine. Do practice runs, right? Do practice runs by going out for the day and doing certain things and giving yourself downtime while you're at it, and then come back, right? So it just has to be an outing for a couple of hours. Then build it to, 3 hours and 4 hours, and just keep extending it to the point where you're able to take that next step of staying overnight.
And you can't take things for granted. Like I was thinking about traveling by car, and I was thinking just for myself, like I get motion sick. So I would need to have, if it's a long distance drive, it's better if I drive, right? And if I'm not driving, then ginger-based anti-nausea medication, the best. That ginger, that is what you need if you get motion sick. But also like just the temperature in the car has to be just right. Like it can't be too hot, it can't be too cold. I need to be wearing comfortable clothing to be sitting in a car for a long period of time. The music can't be too loud. And there needs to be some airflow because stale, warm air is disgusting, right? And you need to make sure that you've got water, that you've got some snacks. Because if you've got sensory overload, you might not know that you're hungry or thirsty. Maybe you need to build in a washroom break somewhere along the way. And then the last part is you do not have to talk the entire time that you're in the car. Like silence is okay. Sometimes I need that silence to just regulate myself and just sort of be alone with my thoughts.
Yep, that's okay. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of a trip, is to being able to do and enjoy things that you like to do.
But I'm just like, so that is a lot of components to think about for a car ride. And the tolerance level is going to depend on the person. So me, maybe I might be able to do a 5-hour car ride fairly easily, but someone else might only be able to do 45 minutes.
Yeah. So it's just doing those practice runs, right? And building those resiliencies. So it's just going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take a lot of planning, but it does pay off. So these were suggestions primarily for being, in your back door. So let's talk about tips of traveling overseas.
All right, traveling by plane, not necessarily overseas. You can see that she's kind of fixated because that's where she wants us to go. All right, traveling by plane. So for your kids, again, modeling, there could be videos about traveling by plane, so they know what to expect, pictures of the airport, knowing beforehand where the sensory rooms are. Most airports have sensory rooms now. Know where the washrooms are, know where the food availability is. Visit the airport prior to going, right? Like take a few trips just to the airport, because the airport is a nightmare. Like that is a horrible place to be. Yep. There is nothing pleasant about an airport.
No, it isn't. It is a busy place. It is sensory overload, regardless of who you are. So it is going to be challenging. So doing dry runs of driving to the airport first, just drive past the airport, just get used to the congestion of everything. Then go in, stay for a little bit of time and leave. Extend that time a little bit more, right? So practice those dry runs and build those resiliencies, build up, that comfort zone for you, right? It's not going to be scary the more times that you go and practice that.
But the first time you get on a plane and it takes off, that is probably going to be scary.
Yes. There is no practice runs for that, right? No. So you can kind of set up your living room, to tell your child this is what it's going to, kind of feel like. Set up your chairs. We're going to be sitting like this. You don't have access to that. You can't get over here. You can't go over there. And you can do those. You can just give them that visual aspect of it by, incorporating that into your home.
I mean, I suppose you could also, depending on the style of chair that you're sitting in, you could like pretend to buckle them into the chair, maybe start tilting the chair backwards so they're starting to tilt up, maybe wiggle the chair a little bit, you could do some things like that to sort of simulate the idea of takeoff.
Yeah. As far as I know, there is no organization out there that provides that simulation activity for your kids. I hope there would be. But there is an airport that does do this twice a year, which in Chicago, O'Hare Airport does this. And I thought this was amazing. American Airlines, kudos to you for doing this twice a year in partnership with Clearbrook, an organization that serves more than 8,000 people. So what they do is the airport experience and mock flight. So they help people with disabilities, take that whole experience, right? From going to the airport, from going through security, from going, to the terminal, from getting onto the plane, the whole thing, this whole mock run is done for them. And I thought, how amazing is that, right? So they do this twice a year. I would love to see main international airports at least participate in just doing it maybe once a year. So, wow. Or some of the smaller airports that can accommodate, and this is all done on a volunteer basis. So this makes my hair stand on end, and I'm like a huge kudos to American Airlines for this.
Yeah, there are some different programs available out there. I came across a program called Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Program. So hidden disability, basically disabilities are not always apparent. Right. Yeah. So we would call them invisible disabilities or hidden disabilities. So the sunflower program is you would wear a pin or a lanyard with a sunflower to indicate a hidden disability. And that's sort of a subtle way to say that you might need accommodations. And there can be trained staff at hotels and airports and destinations that also wear them as an indicator that they are a trained, safe person that you could go to if you need help.
Yeah.
This program is available in over 300 airports, 18 airlines, and hundreds of hotels and attractions around the world.
Yeah. So once again, doing your due diligence and researching and going to these, these facilities are really going to help and, make your experience well worth it.
There's also a program called Autism Double Checked. And so lots of places claim to be autism friendly. This is which just means that they provide accommodations and have trained staff there to support. Autism Double Checked is a third party that provides a certification for people or for places and for staff. So it's like this rigorous training program, and they're taught best support practices, how to adapt menus for selective eaters and avoid strong scented products in rooms or facilities, and then maybe even put together a sensory package for guests. So if you see that accreditation that they are autism double checked, that means they've gone through this program and are certified in it, which I thought was kind of a wonderful thing to do. Autism Double Checked also has an autism passport, which contains pertinent information that the individual would like to share about themselves, including their preferences, maybe signs of distress, and they can share that passport with the staff.
Yes. The key to this is going to be asking for help and use the resources. Every step of the way, you can go to the counter and you can explain your situation to them. Airlines are amazing about assistance over there, and they will help you every step of the way. Before you decide, when you get to your terminal, and you're going to have to make a decision based on your child, whether you would prefer to get onto the aircraft before anybody, or if you're the type of person that requires to come on last and then you go, right? To reduce the anxiety. Either way. So you're going to know best on how your child is going to tolerate that.
Or for yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? As an adult, all these things are still available to you. This isn't just for children.
Your crew often will, help you and assist you in, taking your hand luggage ahead of schedule and placing it above your seat, so that all you have to do is then just focus on yourself and just to getting onto the flight.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who travel take things for granted, but I hadn't traveled in a really, really long time. And then I didn't really understand the ticket. I didn't understand what it meant. And I didn't even think to try to look it up because I was already at the airport and I was a little confused because, now boarding 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your seat number, and then a letter, and then it talked about sections, and I didn't know if sections were part of the plane or what was happening. And I did ask a lot of questions of people because there are always staff hanging around the airport there. Like, I'm not sure which way to go. I walked in, I was already overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't have anyone with me. I was traveling alone. And I was panicked about how I was getting to the airport. I needed to have all of those details in place. I cannot wing it. Haha, wing it. Yeah. But there's also another program called TSA Cares, which is Transportation Security Administration in the U.S. And just like you're saying, they can help avoid long lines. They can allow you or your child to hold sensory items when you're going through security screening.
Yeah. And that was one of the aspects that I was going to address as well. So when you request any of these accommodations, you reach out to them in advance, you providing them with your details of your departure and arrival, and they do help put things in place for you to make that transition a lot easier.
Yeah, and apparently you can also get a code for disabled passengers with intellectual or developmental disabilities who need assistance, and that code goes on your plane ticket. And that code can be used by airlines right around the world, and it lets staff know that the person has an invisible disability and might need some help.
Yeah. So, it is going to be overwhelming. I'm not going to downplay that. It is overwhelming for anybody traveling, right? Even for the seasoned travelers, there are situations and circumstances that arise that are going to test your abilities, regardless of who you are. But preparation is key. It comes down to whether it is in your backyard or on a plane, preparation is key. So take the time, invest in, in good quality, destinations that are going to enhance your trip and really make it wonderful.
I think it's really important that, yeah, it's overwhelming for everybody, but it's really important to emphasize that for autistic people, that overwhelm is bigger. It's more. The intensity of it is a lot more. So please don't be, I know you're not being dismissive, but please, for people, don't be dismissive of the fact that when an autistic person says they're overwhelmed, it is more than what neurotypical people experience. So when I say, okay, I'm really nervous about going to the airport, I am more than just nervous. Really, I really need to know some details. And I talking to people, I was trying to get information and say, okay, so when I go into the airport, where do I go? Oh, well, you go through security. Okay, well, how do I know where security is? Because airports are not really set up to be information friendly in their design. And they're like, oh, well, you'll follow the signs. Well, I did follow the signs, and the signs were not clear. So I was going all over the place until I could find someone, and I would just stop and ask whoever looked like staff and say, I think I'm supposed to go through security now. Oh, it's back around the corner over there. And then I go back around the corner, and there was not great signage to tell me. So I'd have to stop and ask another person. And every time I have to stop and ask a person, my anxiety is getting worse, right? Because there's a time limit. You have to be at a specific place at a specific time, and it's noisy, and there are people running around all the time, and there are people really, everything is so loud. And I can't wear noise canceling headphones because I need to hear people, because I need to know where I'm going.
Yeah. So in order to reduce any of that, what you're going to do is go back to effective planning, right? And doing your dry runs, right? Of going to the airport, familiarizing yourself with the airport, and, and practicing, walking through where, I mean, of course you can't go through security, but, going into the check-in areas, going to where the security entrance is, and, getting yourself familiarized with the lay of the land.
Yeah.
And, and then just give yourself permission to say, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask for help, and give yourself ample time. Give yourself that extra time, right? In order to reduce you from getting anxious to the point where you're going, I'm going to miss my flight, right? If you give yourself that extra time, you're going to be okay. And you got to keep telling yourself you're going to be okay. And folks, once you're checked in, it is not likely that they're going to leave without you, right? So please, the steps to involve to take luggage off a plane is far more, substantial than waiting for a few minutes in order for a person to be on a flight.
If you can, travel with a support person. That is my recommendation.
Yeah.
Because
I was going to stick my hand up and say, I'm available. That's opening a can of worms over there. I'm available to you, Kimberly.
Thank you. All right. So that is the end of my list. Do you have anything else?
No, that was it. So, embrace it, please. This is the potentials to being out there and enjoying the world is well worth it. So, so there you go. So now that you've gone on your trips and you've done things, it's time for you to have, as a caregiver, disconnect, right? So I think the important aspect of, travel and engagement and stuff is also providing yourself respite, right? I think that is key when you are the primary caregiver or parent of a child with special needs of any kind. So I think our next talk should be about respite care.
All right. That is a good topic.
Okay. Until then, have a great day.
And we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in. If you know someone who might find this episode helpful, feel free to share. Also, check out our website and socials linked in the description.